Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself. May I have a fanfare, please? Too like me. Ah, now, that's better. But couldn't it be a little fuller? Stupendous! But I was thinking of something to personify me. What? A calliope or calliope, as the circus people would say? Oh, well, maybe circus music is more appropriate. For I am David. David of Sarasota, Florida. It seems only fitting that we find in Sarasota the museum the circus built, the famous John and Mabel Ringling Museum of Art, built to house the best collection of Baroque art in America. This is also my home, the home of Michelangelo's David, the David of Sarasota. Of course, I often envy my brother, the marbled original over in Florence, Italy, but just look at this setting, much like an Italian villa with its garden courts. Every year, more than 500,000 people visit the Ringling Museum to view the fabulous collection of art and to participate in the many other activities which make this museum a center of cultural activity in Sarasota. The gallery tour starts here. John Ringling was a showman, an impresario whose byword was "think big." Obviously, he admired artists who also thought big, like the famed Peter Paul Rubens, who created these giant paintings as a part of a series entitled The Triumph of the Eucharist. And they are truly a collector's triumph, yet only a small part of the huge and growing collection. Two of the more popular galleries are these, where contemporary works are displayed on a revolving or loan basis, often from other museums like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Guggenheim Museum. John Ringling's own accomplishments always seemed larger than life. When he died in 1936, he willed their sumptuous home, which was designed by his wife Mabel, the 37-acre estate on Sarasota Bay, and the fabulous Ringling Museum to the people of the state of Florida, a gift of art and architecture appraised at many millions of dollars. Ironically, John Ringling did not found America's greatest museum of circus history. The Ringling Museum of the Circus was built on the Ringling grounds by the state of Florida. Many of the things that were commonplace to the great showman are now rare artifacts of a past era. Just to my left is the most recent addition to the Ringling Museum complex, the modern wing that houses the priceless Asolo Theater, an antique jewel from Italy. In fact, the only original Italian 18th century theater in America. This theater was originally built in 1798 in the Palace of Catherine of Cornaro at Asolo near Venice. In 1930, it was dismantled to make room for a modern theater and shipped piece by piece to Sarasota. Here, in addition to being a showplace, it's constantly being used for many artistic functions. The Asolo Chamber Orchestra uses it for rehearsal and musicals. This ensemble and the Asolo String Quartet perform here regularly.
Be a little calmer. Let's try one.
The Turnau Opera Troupe perform here each winter, staging many classic operas. On summer nights, I like best the dramas of the Comedy Festival. The Asolo Theater Festival Players, jointly sponsored by the Ringling Museum and the Florida State University, present classic comedies of Shakespeare, Moliere, Sheridan, Goldoni, and many other playwrights of the period.
I know well enough that women of fashion in London are accountable to nobody after they're married.
Well, very well, ma'am. Very well. So, a husband is to have no influence, no authority.
Authority? No, to be sure. If you wanted authority over me, you should have adopted me and not married me. I'm sure you were old enough.
Old enough?
Residents and visitors to Sarasota have come to expect our cultural riches. Opening night at our community theater, The Players, is a gala affair. Talented Sarasota amateurs, with the guidance of a professional director, have presented over 200 productions. My neighbors in Sarasota are directly involved in many cultural projects. This is the Florida West Coast Symphony Orchestra. It's a community orchestra of 80 musicians from Sarasota, adjoining Manatee County, and Manatee Junior College, that perform under the leadership of a professional maestro. The Florida West Coast Symphony Orchestra also sponsors the Intra-County Youth Orchestra, the Chamber Music Society series, which features world-renowned ensembles, and the Chorale Society. But I am rather partial to my own private band, the Sarasota Concert Band. Not completely private, however, because the free Sunday concerts are very popular, as you can see. The progressive Sarasota County public school system offers an enlightened program of musical instruction. Youth is important here in Sarasota, which has one of the best public school systems in the South, receiving nationwide acclaim for advances in school architecture and design, as well as academic standards. Where else but in Sarasota would it be more natural for children to learn and follow circus culture and circus careers? The Sarasota Sailor Circus has received international fame for their annual performances. For many, it means continuing a family trade, ultimately graduating to the big top. As you know, Sarasota County has long been the winter capital of the circus. Ringling Brothers, the greatest show on earth, makes its home here in Venice. Circus traditions are strong in Sarasota, often stimulating the artist to paint the circus, and sometimes stimulating the circus artist to paint, like world-famous Emmett Kelly, who spends many of his non-clowning hours at the easel cartooning. The Ringling Art School, the Allied Arts Council, many galleries, and a dynamic art association fortify Sarasota as a leading art center. Sarasota has long been accepted as a cultural center and a mecca for artists. Here, Ben Stahl is creating one of his famous Stages of the Cross series. The illustrations of Thornton Oots are internationally recognized. Sid Solomon directs the intensive art program of New College in Sarasota. The pastel-toned illustrations by Al Buell are synonymous with warmth and romance. The Flirtas, a husband and wife team of artist and writer, produce children's books on a variety of interesting subjects. Sarasota also has a very active writers' colony with such famous writers as John MacDonald, Irving Vendig, Fred Waltman, Jim Gentili, Burden Deal, and Jim McCaig. I enjoyed Deputy Dog and the other famous cartoon characters created by Lars Bourne. He finds Sarasota an ideal place to create his humorous storyboards. Sandigraphs are a favorite pastime of young beachcombers. All you need is a piece of shell to draw with and a broad stretch of beach. Sarasota has plenty of both. In fact, more than 35 miles of broad white sand fronts the Gulf of Mexico on the chain of famous keys: Longboat, Lido, Siesta, Casey, and Minnesota. In Sarasota County, there are more than 14,000 inviting accommodations and gourmet restaurants. More than enough for every vacation budget. Connecting these keys to the mainland are many bridges and causeways, ideal for fishing. There are miles of sheltered bays and coves, or the challenge of the mighty tarpon. It's also a good sport for kids and whole families to enjoy, skimming over the blue-green waters. But even the expert takes an occasional spill. When the summer breezes are full-blown, all Sarasota set sail during the annual Labor Day Regatta, one of the most popular in the country. But if you're a landlubber like me, maybe you'd prefer the feel of a hard drive down one of the fairways of our many exciting golf courses, all with magnificent putting surfaces where your ball rolls true to the cup. Come to think of it, I wasn't bad as an athlete either. From slinging a stone to slinging a ball is just a brief jump in history to America's favorite sport, baseball. Sarasota's own Sun Sox play the Florida State League, and Sarasota is also the home of the Rookie League. Every spring, the Chicago White Sox limber up here and play in the Grapefruit League. In fact, the city of Sarasota built Arthur Allen Field in honor of the White Sox owner, here inspecting the grounds with his old friend, Al Lopez. Gymnasts of the nation meet here for the annual clinic at Christmas time. There is perhaps no greater challenge to the aspiring athlete than to blend the demands of physical fitness with artistic grace in these exercises and routines. A ballet of youthful spirit. The Gulf Coast Ballet Guild sponsors the Florida Ballet Art School and many entertaining and educational performances in the art of the dance. Physically, culturally, mentally, Sarasota is preparing for all the needs of youth. Here at Sarasota's latest educational endeavor, New College, students are being given an exciting educational concept which caters to the needs of the individual student. New College has attracted an outstanding staff. Dr. Arnold Toynbee was the first visiting professor of history. The Ringling Museum Complex has spawned a host of growing cultural pursuits and art centers, like the Hilton Leach Gallery. Here is a growing populace nurtured on aesthetic and natural beauty. Sarasota is a city that is balanced with a progressive educational system and a healthy supervised program of all the arts for all ages. And yet, Sarasota has not lost the most important art of all, the art of relaxed living. There is a bit of everything for everyone here in Sarasota: educational, physical, and cultural pursuits for young and old alike. Athletics and aesthetics, all wrapped up in a beautiful package to see and enjoy here at my home, Sarasota, Florida.